Hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, I'm going to go over what I've learned in my first 6 months of creating content. And when I say creating content, I mean really trying to take it to a whole nother level. And what I mean by that is I've been posting 3 to 5 times a day of short form content across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now, prior to that 6 months, I was posting maybe 1 to 2 times a day. But in the last 6 months, like I said, I've been doing 3 to 5 times a day, and it has been a noticeable difference. So just to give you guys some rough numbers, when I first started posting, my follower count was extremely low. So on Facebook, I had about 1,000 followers. On Instagram, I had just over 500. On YouTube, I had less than 100. And on TikTok, I had around 5,000. But a lot of that 5,000, matter of fact, almost all of it came from one video that kind of went viral. Okay, now, in 6 months of posting 3 to 5 times a day, my current count is on Facebook, I've got right at 20,000 followers. I just hit 20,000 yesterday, as a matter of fact. On Instagram, I have 15,400. On TikTok, I have 22,100. And YouTube subscribers, I just hit 4,200. So that's a pretty good, you know what I'm saying, gain for 6 months. I mean, obviously some people do better, some people do worse, but that is just kind of the benchmark. So I wanted to put that out there for you, and then I'll tell you guys what I did, and maybe it'll work for you. Now, I am by no means like the best creator out there. I'm not the funniest guy. I have switched from what I started doing, from what I thought I was going to do. I thought it was going to be a lot easier. I was trying to do like motivational type stuff and all of that. And the main reason I'm even on social media is I own a small business. All right. I own a clothing brand, and that's Apex Predator Outfitters, as you can tell by my hat and shirt. But I started the social media channels to bring exposure to the brand. So that was the whole reason of starting it. Now, to get on to what I've learned. Now, the first thing that I learned is I needed to go in with a plan. All right, I spent 23 years in the Army, okay? And everything we did, there was a plan to it. Now, prior to this last 6 months, I was just posting whatever I thought, whatever I felt like. As I told you, I started off in the motivational type thing, but then I found out about Stitches, and where you could add a little comedy to it, because I got a kind of a quick mind, kind of a good sense of humor. And I was like, you know what? This seems like it's going to be easier because I'm kind of using somebody else's content and then I'm just reacting to it. So I guess you would say it's kind of reactionary / comedy. Okay. But again, I said I needed structure to it. Now, as I started doing that, I was doing three of those a day, but I also wanted to add a couple of other elements to it, right? So the first one was I have this thing that I say like whole nother level, right? Because some of the stuff you see people do is absolutely crazy. And I was like, you know what? I did a couple of those videos. I posted them. They got a little bit of traction. So I said, dang, dude, that's, pretty good. Whole nother level. Then the other thing I did was I was always watching these videos and I would always learn something from them. Like I would watch a video and then I would go to Google it or do some more research. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And then I remembered that show back in the 80s that I would watch, and their tagline was "The more you know." So that's kind of how everything came together. I said, I am going to be structured with this. My goal or my outline, or let's call it a shell of my idea, was I'm going to post at least 3 times a day and up to 5 times a day. I'm not going to post any less than 3, and I'm not going to post any more than 5. And if I'm going to have a 5-post day, the goal is going to be 3 of the Stitches where I find something and then I say a little joke or whatever. It could be a news article or whatever floats my boat. And that's what I do. I'm going to post 1 whole nother level video, and then I'm gonna post 1 the more you know. So that was the goal. And I tell you what, when I outlined and had a structure of what I was going to do, it made everything so much easier because I can sit there and I'm watching stuff. All right, I've got my 3 stitches. I've got my whole nother level, and I've got my the more you know, which is what I'm gonna post for that day, and then I can move on and start trying to get a little bit of content kind of scheduled out. Now, I only have at any given time maybe a day or two of content, and sometimes it is a real struggle to find stuff. But I will tell you, if you see some content that you're going to do, I take it like from TikTok, which is where I find most of my stuff, or on Twitter. And what I'll do is I will send it to my Facebook Messenger, and then it just stacks up in there, right? So I always have a kind of a stable of what I'm going to do. I also do that to rethink it. So I will send that message to myself, and then maybe the next day I'll watch it and I'll be like, man, that really wasn't as funny as I thought it was. But that's neither here nor there. But the structured piece is what you need. You need to have structure. You need to have a plan going into posting. The next thing I learned was you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all of the people all of the time. What I mean by that is, if you do a piece of content and you think it's funny and you like it, just post it, okay? Feedback from other people is fine, but this is going to be based on what they think and what their sense of humor is, right? So someone may not get the joke, but what I would say is just post it. I mean, what is it going to hurt you? If you think it's funny, other people will think it's funny as well. Now, some will naturally get more views, and some will get less views. And I tell you, some of the stuff that I have that's gone viral, like I've got a few videos on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram too, for that matter, that have gone over 4 or 5 million views. And I didn't think it was going to do that. I was like, man, I need something to post for today. This is decent. Let me go ahead and put it out. And then it just caught traction and went. So I will say, if you get some feedback on some of your stuff, or even if you read the comment section, guys, Joe Rogan has the best philosophy on this: post and ghost. Because if you get all these hateful comments and that is going to distract you, or that is going to keep you from posting, or that's going to affect you, you may not need to be posting a lot of content if you're going to take it seriously, if you're going to take it personally, because there are going to be haters. I don't care what kind of video you put out, there will be people that are just going to hate on you, man. They sit in their mom's basement. It makes them feel good about themselves to talk down on you. So you've got to have some thick skin, all right? But that should never limit you from what you are going to post. Because if you keep second guessing everything, you are never going to post anything, because you could poke fun or find flaws at anything out there. So that's very important to remember. And that was a lesson I learned, because I kept looking at my content. Oh, what are the people going to think? Yada, yada, yada. Who cares, dude? Post and ghost. Not everything that you post is going to be a banger, and it's not going to go viral. And the stuff that you think is going to go viral is probably the stuff that's not. And the stuff that you're like, oh, this is okay, that's what's going to pop. So keep that in mind. The next thing I learned, hashtags and timing are really not that important, at least from what I've seen and my perspective and what I have tried. Case in point, I have posted videos with no hashtags. I've posted videos with hashtags, and I haven't really seen a difference in the traction that they get. Also, as far as posting times, I have a schedule where I post 9 in the morning, I post around noon, I post around 3 in the afternoon, and then I will post 2 of an evening. I have done that, and I did that consistently for 30 days. And then for 30 days, I posted every video at the same time, and I think it was around noon. All 5 videos I posted at the same time. I did not see a noticeable difference. I'd have a couple go viral, and things like that, but I did not see a big difference with the hashtags or with the timing. Now, I've heard other people say that too, but I've also heard other people say, oh, hashtags are important, yada, yada, yada. The main thing that's important is the quality of the content that you're posting, or at least people's perceived quality, meaning, is it entertaining? Is it funny? Are they going to watch it? So that's the very first thing, is the content quality. The next thing, hand in hand with the quality of the content, is, are people responding to it, i.e. in the comment section? You know what I'm saying? Because Engagement drives the content. If you are getting a lot of comments and things like that, that is what is going to push it. And the last thing I'm going to close with is, I think, probably the most important aspect of this. All right. You have got to give this time. You have got to stick with it, right? You can't give up after 30 days. You can't give up after 60 days. You don't know when it's going to pop. It just makes sense that most of your followers, probably 80 to 90% of the people who follow me, have been from 10 videos. Like if I didn't have those 10 videos out there, the ones that went into the millions, my follower count would be so much lower. So you never know when that's going to happen. It may not happen in the first 30 days. It may not happen in the first 60 days. It may not happen in the first 90 days. You need to play. That's why I'm making this video at the 6-month mark. If I would have done it at the 3-month mark, I don't know if the video would be the same, because I wanted to give it that window so I could give it enough time. But you have got to stick with it. Don't quit. You may be one video away from just going viral and starting your career at doing this, because once you start getting the follower count up, then your views go up. You have more people following. You have more people watching the content. You're going to get unfollows. I get unfollows all the time. And what'll happen is they'll catch the one video and think like, oh, the more you know video. Oh, this dude does educational stuff, when I don't. So I may gain 1,000 followers from that one video, but after they see some of my other content, you may lose 500 of them. But that's okay. It's just the way it goes. People follow and unfollow people all the time. But you need to be consistent and you need to stick with your plan. I would not even think about reevaluating your social media plan or your strategy or your posting strategy until you have 6 months of data. Okay? This is analyzing data, and it is data driven. You got to go back and look at your analytics, and you've got to see if it's worthwhile. Now, I don't know what your goals are in doing content. I don't know if you want to get monetized, which, cool, kudos to you if you do. My goal is to promote my small business and to kind of show off some of the gear that I have. So it's always important that you define your expectations going in and what you're trying to accomplish. But you cannot quit. You just got to keep going. Thanks for listening, everybody. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. My next video that I'm going to do is probably what I learned in the first year as a small business owner. That one's going to be kind of lengthy probably, because every mistake that could be made, I probably made it. But again, thanks for watching.